What's up, ladies and gentlemen? This is Cargo, and well, yeah, actually, it's mostly men. Not probably, it's definitely mostly men. I looked at my demographics, and 95% of the people who watch my videos are men. I don't understand, man. Like, I thought girls were into this kind of thing. I don't know. Guess not. Anyways, right now I just finished up the support class a couple games after this video, which in the support class was my final class to play after out of the 4. I leveled each class up to a service star before I switched to a different class. So I played the medic first, or assault class first, then I switched to engineer, then to recon, and then finally to support. So now is a good time to kind of tell you what I think of the classes. And I know from the forums a lot of people have differing opinions on the effectiveness of the classes, but I'll tell you what I think, and I'll just go in the order that I played them in. I'll start with the assault class, because that was my first class, and I think the assault class is amazing. Of course, since you can just drop health packs right on you when you get hurt, it's really hard to take a good assault player down, because if they just have an F2000 and their medipack, and they are set. And then their grenade launcher is also really good. In fact, their grenade launcher is what makes me rage the most. Not because it's OP. I don't think the grenade launcher is OP at all, but I just hate getting killed by it, just because for some reason I never expect it. But yeah, the medic class is very good, or assault class. I keep calling it medic class just because I always play with the medipack, because it gets me the most points, because I'm a point whore. And then, let's see, I switched to the engineer class because, of course, as the medic class, you really can't do any damage to vehicles, so I switched to the engineer class so I could finally do damage to vehicles. And I feel their RPGs are slightly less effective than I would have hoped, but it's mostly just disappointment that I can't kill a tank in one shot, and it's definitely good that you can't kill tanks with too few RPGs. And of course, if you get behind a tank, one RPG to the back will disable it. But I guess the only problem I have with the engineer class is its Stinger missiles, and I forget what the Russian counterpart is called, like the SLA or something like that. Is that when you are trying to take down a helicopter or a jet, and that pilot is really experienced, you literally can't do it, because a good helicopter pilot will notice where the rocket comes from, and so then they'll shoot you with their helicopter. Surprise, surprise. I've had that happen to me not too many times, but it was always against the people that really knew what they were doing in the helicopters. They'd see where the rockets were coming from. Of course, they'd drop their flares and then shoot me in the face, and there's nothing I could do about it. And the jet players, they would drop their flares and just fly out of range, and by the time they came back, their flares are already set. So it's really frustrating, I think, and you should be able to either carry more anti-air missiles, or they should... I don't know how you'd fix it, but they should either do more damage, or lock on easier, something like that, because it's kind of ridiculous. Now, versus your average Joe, it'll work just fine, because he doesn't know what to do. But versus experienced players, they're pretty much useless. Alright, so then I switched to the Recon class. And the Recon class is alright. I personally didn't like it at all. And I think that's more personal preference, because I do have a couple friends who do enjoy playing it. But I just find, I don't like being a sniper at all, so that was one reason why I don't particularly care for it, and I'm a little bit biased. But I also don't think that their their equipment is all that useful. The spawn point has its uses, but you can't use it all the time and have it always be effective. Because it's just like sometimes, most of the time, you don't need to spawn in random locations. I guess it's MCOM, or mobile spawns are most effective in rush games, when you need to attack an objective, and flanking is a lot more difficult than it is in conquest games. And then they also have the motion sensor, which is nice, I guess. That piece of equipment's good, and in the MAV, You know, I actually never used the map, and I cannot believe it because I saw a video of some guy who just killed people with the map all the time for running into them, and it was so funny. And I want to go back and make a video of just me trying to kill people with mavs because it's like the biggest troll in Battlefield 3, I'm pretty sure, is killing people with mavs, and that looks so funny. And then they have the SOFLAM, of course. And the SOFLAM would be good if anybody ever used... Oh, what are they called? Whatever the laser designated rockets are called that the engineer class can carry around. And I feel like that has more to do with people playing together. So, I mean, and so knowing, so they're like, all right, Recon guy, can you carry a SOFLAM and I'll carry the laser guided rockets, and then we can take out tanks and helicopters in like one hit. And so then that would work out well, but 99% of the time that's not how it works. So I feel like they need to do something with that dynamic between the engineer and the Recon class. And they also need to add more pieces of equipment to the Recon class to make them more effective. Because yes, the Recon class is really good, but they're not that great in most circumstances. And then I'm playing the support class now, as you can see. Well, I just finished, and I'll probably switch back to being a medic most of the time, although I'll play any class. Whichever class we need at the moment is what I'll play. But I prefer the medic, or assault class above all. But anyways, support class. The support class is alright. I don't really like the weapons, but it's just because, for me, personally, they're an awkward combination of high damage versus low accuracy. So, I mean, it's definitely balanced. I don't have anything against it, but it's just not my personal play style. And also, the last, not including the Carcans, LMGs, the last LMG in the progression for the support class, oh, it's so terrible. I raged so hard. I don't think I've ever raged that hard in a video game. I literally broke when my controller was raging when I was playing with that gun. Rest in peace, PS3 DualShock. But yeah, so that really doesn't have anything to do with anything. It just tells you that I suck with LMGs. That's the main point that I was trying to get at. I suck with LMGs and I rage because I can't hit anything, because I can't figure out how to shoot an LMG because I'm an idiot. Anyways, but no, the support class is good. I think the C4 is especially useful versus vehicles, naturally. In an aspect of the C4 that people don't use very often is blowing holes in walls and creating new routes. And I try to do that as much as possible. Well, I mean, when I need it. I don't just willy-nilly throw C4 everywhere. And that's really useful. And of course, the ammo, which not enough engineer classes use, or engineer people use. The ammo, of course, is wonderful, and every support class has it. Did I say engineer? I meant support. My bad. But overall, I think the classes are relatively balanced, just meaning they each have their own purpose, with the Recon being an exception. But I definitely think that a group playing as purely medic or assault and engineer could definitely get the job done, because they both have anti-vehicle as well as healing and reviving. So that would definitely be my choice if I had to roll with two classes, would be assault and engineer. Well, thank you for watching this game, and watching me own with the support classes. I think was one of the best games of my support class. But we lost anyways because my team sucked. Worse than the other team sucked. But thanks for watching. Keep calm and super champion.